All right. Hey guys, I think I'm recording. Still getting used to this whole computer thing. We're going to get started here in a second, but I just wanted to just remind you guys, I just posted this, so I'm sorry it's a little late, but the worksheet for the Law of the Mirror I posted in the event page. I also posted like on Go Silver and Go Gold and all that stuff too. So hopefully you can get this. I loved this lesson. This one's hard for me. It's all about self-image and, your self-worth and how you see yourself, and all of that. Caring about yourself and doing things, for yourself and all of that. And that's all just kind of hard for me. But I love this lesson. It's super awesome. John Maxwell has just the best way of sharing his experience. He's just amazing. He tells stories, he's a great storyteller, and I just absolutely love him. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The Law of the Mirror, which basically says that you must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. Now, in this business, we talk about a lot about adding value to other people, right? You cannot add value to somebody else if you don't add value to yourself first. It's like, as a mom, they say, you take care of yourself, then you can take care of your family. Or, you can't pour from a cup that's empty, that kind of thing. It kind of goes along with that. So you must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. So I like that. And then let's see, he says, the most important thoughts that you will ever have are the thoughts inside your mind. So mindset is huge. And we know that, again, in this business. Mindset is a big deal. You have to have a positive mindset or, your business is not going to do well. And that's just the bottom line. There's definitely, peaks and valleys in this business for sure. And it's hard to kind of not ride that roller coaster. But you have to keep your mindset right and stay positive all the time. Your leadership lid. So he has in the 21 laws of leadership, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. He has a law called the law of the lid. And I think I talked about this actually last week, but basically it's, if you can only go so high. And, if your lid is here, that's as high as you can go. If you raise your lid, you can go higher. And, how do you do that? You do that by adding value to others and adding value to yourself and self-growth and all of those kind of things. And learning about your business too. I think that has a lot to do with raising your lid. So, He says your self-image cannot go higher than the score that you give yourself. So, say a 1 to 10 and, think really hard, think, okay, how do I see myself? How, where is my self-image? If it's a 3 or something, you need to really work hard on that. If it's a 10, awesome. That's great. But his point is he says, if you have a low self-image, you can never consistently behave higher than that self-image. So if you think you're a 3, there is no way that you're consistently going to be able to behave at an 8 or above. You may have a couple of good days here and there, and that's super awesome. You can think, gosh, and obviously that's going to raise your self-image a little bit, but you cannot consistently perform at an 8 if you think of yourself as a 3. And so he does give us some tips of how to raise our self-image, which is super awesome. And then he says, and this is on the worksheet here, how well you lead determines how well you succeed. And I love that. So let's see, how we see ourselves determines how we will invest in ourselves. So this kind of struck a chord with me is, a lot of times you hear in this business, if you're treating your business like a business, you'll get business pay. If you're treating it like a hobby, you'll get hobby pay. And that's very accurate. So for me, this was kind of almost the same thing. How we see ourselves determines how we invest in ourselves. So if we see ourselves as, 5, 6, 7, 8, we're going to know that we can succeed because we believe in ourselves, and we're going to invest in ourselves and make sure that we succeed, which I just love that. So if you see yourself as a 3, you will invest in yourself as a 3. I took like a ton of those tonight. I have 4 pages of notes. It's just kind of crazy. So he says, when he very first started in his leadership, or actually he was a pastor for a little while. So when he was first a pastor, he says, he was very poor, and he was very poor financially, but he was rich in self-image. And he said, a lot of times you see people that are rich financially, but have a very poor self-image. You cannot add value to others if you do not add value to yourself, whether you are rich or not. So I thought that was, kind of very interesting. I really liked his perspective on that, because, he's all about leading the right way. And a little bit later, he actually talks about, I think he called it the high road leadership, always doing the right thing, and always, doing good for others. And I think that's why I admire him so much, because, there's plenty of people out there that can teach you how to succeed and, maybe make more money and that kind of thing. But doing it the right way is maybe a little bit more rare nowadays. And I think that's why I'm drawn to him so much, because I love the way that he leads. It is all good and all right all the time. And I just thought that's character driven. Let's see, he says your self-image will determine how much you will invest in yourself and how much you're willing to bet on yourself. He says, there's not often that he sees successful people where other people around them maybe don't believe in them, but he has never seen a successful person that they don't believe in themselves. So believing in yourself, being willing to bet on yourself, is huge, 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 huge. And I think in this business too, because it's like, it's hard in the beginning. We're all learning these new things and, learning the lingo and, maybe you get a couple of ambassadors and then you're super excited, and then, one falls off, or maybe it's been a while since you've gotten one and you think, gosh, what's wrong with me? Probably nothing is wrong with you. It's just part of the business. And if you let that determine your self-image, you're not going to succeed. So, sorry, I'm going to mute my phone here. My mom and my brother are having a fun conversation, I guess. So bet on yourself, invest in yourself. You should be the first person that would bet on yourself. If you're not going to bet on yourself, nobody around you is going to bet on yourself, right? Or is going to bet on you. So you have to be like your own advocate, basically, is what he's saying, and believe in yourself. Let's see. Okay, our belief in ourselves influences the belief that others have in us. Like I said, if you're not going to believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you. And people feel that, if you have a poor self-image, if you don't think you're going to succeed, then you're not going to succeed. That's just the bottom line. We talk about mindset all the time. And if you have a poor mindset, it just breeds and it gets in your head, and it's just bad, and it takes you down a path that you don't want to go down. So you really have to be strong, have a strong mindset, and very, strong belief in yourself as well. Let's see. If you sell yourself short, everyone else will sell you short as well. I thought that was kind of huge. Okay, so how do you grow your self-image? Let me think. I'm going to go back to my worksheet because I think I skipped over one. So I said you must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. How well you lead determines how well you succeed. You will always move to the level of your self-image. So again, if you feel like you're a 3, you're going to perform at a 3. That's just the way it is. If you feel like, maybe you're a 5 or a 6 on your way to a 7 or an 8. That's awesome, and you're going to perform at a 7 or an 8 a lot better than under that. So you always move to the level of your self-image. It's impossible to consistently behave in a way that is inconsistent with how we see ourselves. That is the first of the little reflection statements in the worksheet. How we see ourselves determines how we invest in ourselves. Our belief in ourselves influences the belief that others have in us. So that was pretty huge. So how do you grow your self-image? How to approach the mirror, he says. Guard your self-talk. So, every day, whether we know it or not, we have a conversation with ourselves. And, honestly, for most of us, it's probably pretty bad. And we have to really be careful with what we say to ourselves. I just bought a book. Actually, I've had it for quite some time, and I haven't started it yet because I have 5 million other books that I'm doing. But I think it's called something like what to say when you talk to yourself. And I cannot wait to dive into that book. That's going to be huge for mindset, but probably goes right along with the law of the mirror here. What to say when you talk to yourself. Guard your self-talk and really be careful with, words can be really damaging and thoughts can be really damaging. So be careful with what you say to yourself. He says, the most important conversation you will have every single day is the one that you have with yourself. The most important words that you say are the ones that come out of your own mouth. The most important thinking will be your own thoughts. You should, and he says, you should have self-talk, but you should not have poor self-talk. He kind of talked about a golfer that he golfed with. And, he said a lot of golfers talk to themselves and maybe out loud, but they probably definitely, are in their head as well. But, if they hit a poor shot and they just, oh my gosh, that was such a bad shot, gosh darn it, all this stuff. And he's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Just think, okay, I'm going to hit it better next time. Because, my husband is start picking up golf again. And he used to golf a while ago and he loved it. And, we're busy. So he had to quit and he's starting to pick it up. And it's very good for him. But it's true, like if you, start off that first hole, maybe that second hole, and you're just sucking, you're going to probably continue to do that throughout the rest of the 18 holes, right? But if you are like, okay, I've got this, my first couple holes are practice holes, I'm going to do much better from here on out, you most likely will. It's all about your self-talk. So talk to yourself for sure, have a conversation with yourself, but guard that self-talk and be really careful with what you're saying to yourself. I love that. And I know for me as a mom and a wife and a woman, I think us women are really hard on ourselves and especially the moms, and we need to not be. He talks a little bit later about getting a win every day. So that's I'll wait to talk about that. But he says, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing. And this is kind of where the whole character comes into play and why I really, really like John Maxwell so much, is he's all about doing the right thing and all about good character. And I don't know. I really appreciate that. So let's see. Guard your self-talk. Okay, so add value to others. This is one of the ways to grow your self-image, is add value to others. And like I said in the beginning, if your cup isn't full, you can't pour anything out of it. So fill your cup, and then you can pour your cup. Fill yourself up. A lot of people do that with spiritually, praying or reading devotionals or that kind of thing. That fills us up, and I know it fills me up. And if I don't have those kind of things, I can't give anymore. I can't add value to anybody else. So add value to yourself so you can add value to others. One of the greatest ways to improve your self-image is to lose yourself. Then you begin to find yourself in what you're doing. a tremendous way to build your self-image is to lose yourself, and then you begin to find yourself. Lose yourself into giving to others and adding value to others. And, for those of us that have a team, pouring into your team and, just praying for them and, sharing with them and doing things like this, training them. And that's what it's all about. Pouring into your team, pour into your Facebook friends, pour into your non-Plexus Facebook friends. They need to know that you love them too and you care about them. You don't want to think that, or you don't want them to think that you're just trying to sell them something. You're just trying to get them. That's not at all what we're about in this business. We are about sharing and helping others, and there is no better way to add value to yourself than helping others. And for me, I see that immediately when I know that I've really helped somebody out, and it makes you feel good, right? So do the right thing always, even if it's the hard thing. So that was the next thing. Do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing. I love that. If you want to feel good, do good. That was a John Wooden quote. If you want to feel good, then do good. Do something good for others, and that's going to raise your self-image. Good character. Okay, this one was really big, and I totally agree. Good character decisions increase your self-image more than any other kind of decision in your life. Good character decisions increase your self-image more than any other decision in your life. So, doing the right thing, it makes you feel good. Basically, that's what it is. That's going to raise your self-image drastically every time you do that. So always, always do the right thing. And then he had this high road leadership, and it was like this really long poem, and I tried to write it all out, and I tried to look it up on Facebook, and I lost it. So I'm going to try to go back and type it all out and put it in the team page. But basically, I got a little bit of it, but he basically said, people are illogical, unreasonable, self-centered, love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives, but good leaders do good anyway. If you are successful, you will find false friends. Be successful anyway. Let's see. If the good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow, do good anyway. It kind of reminds me of, there's I believe it's Mother Teresa, a quote that she says basically that, people will hurt you and persecute you and hate you, and love them anyway. Love is huge. And, we are not in this business if we are not, lovers and givers. This is all about loving your friends and family enough to share these products with them. That's what this is about, right? And helping them be healthy. Loving your family so that doing good for your family. It's all about love. That is what this business is, in my opinion. So high road leadership. Every day get a win. So he says, every day do whatever you can to get a win under your belt. The quickest and easiest way to get a win is to do something for someone else. Little things. I've kind of practiced this with being a mama of 9 kiddos. It's crazy sometimes, you guys. I have rough days. I posted a video today about a little fight that my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old had yesterday. It was a rough couple of hours there for a little bit. But you just have to always think about the positive and what good happened today. I don't know. I'd have to think more about yesterday, during that time frame. My little girl told me she loved me probably 10 times, and I got a hug and a kiss from Eli, and I made Nicholas laugh. And, I went and watched my boys play soccer, and there's lots of good. There was this tiny little, fight between my kids that was bad. But if you dwell on that, it's going to make the rest of your day bad. So always, always try to find a win in every single day. And I know that, being a stay-at-home mama with tiny little kids, sometimes that's really hard. Being a working mama where, all you're doing is pushing papers all day long, maybe that's really hard to find a win, but always try to focus on finding a little tiny win in every single day. And like you said, that the easiest way to get that win is to do something for somebody else. So I like that. Let's see, his number 5 bullet point is be prepared. And he says, one of the keys to success is being prepared. It is where you really get ahead of the game. Preparation relieves anxiety and gives you confidence. And, okay, I'll take tonight, for example. Last week I was super prepared, and I, listened to the video, and I did all my notes, and I filled out my worksheet, and I got dinner ready, and, all my husband had to do was pull it out of the oven. I was very prepared last week. This week was totally different. John Maxwell Company releases the videos for the class each week at 3 p.m. Well, I have kids to go get from school at 3 p.m. So I get my kiddos, and I get home, and I get them all settled in, and I get to my computer. Well, somebody needs a drink, and somebody needs this. And then, of course, Eli wakes up, and then baby won't go to sleep. So it kind of was a little bit of a rough couple of hours from 3 till now because I didn't prepare. I didn't have dinner ready to go. I was scrambling trying to make dinner. I was trying to get the baby to sleep. I was trying to, concentrate on this and write my notes. And trust me, that gives you a little bit of anxiety. So being prepared, I love that. Preparation relieves anxiety and gives you confidence. And that's so true. I had to come upstairs, lock everybody out of my room about 10 minutes before I started this because I had to prepare for this Zoom. I had to go over my notes and prepare. So preparation is really, really, really good. You don't think about that. But I know for me as a mom, if I'm not prepared for the kids to go to school, in the morning, it's going to be a rough morning. If I'm not prepared to go on a week-long trip, it's going to be a rough trip. It's not going to be a great trip. So preparation is a good idea. Use your mirror to look at yourself, not others. Use your mirror to look at yourself, not look at others. That is on the worksheet. So this is all about self-reflecting. The law of awareness was about being aware of, what you need to do in this business and how to grow and be aware that you should grow and all of that. This is a self-reflective law, and it's, taking a look at yourself and trying to be better. Right? I mean, we wake up every day trying to be better than we were yesterday. So I love this. Look, use the mirror to look at yourself, not look at others. And then let's see. Okay, so that was pretty much it. He had somebody else on, Jason Bournet, and he's a fabulous storyteller. I'll touch a little bit on a couple of things that he talked about. But basically, he talked about how he just was not a great student. And for him, the thought of, and he was gearing this toward network marketing, this story, but the thought of, graduating high school, going to college, getting a good job, all that to be successful was kind of daunting because he was not a good student. He didn't want to go to college, And so this network marketing gig kind of came up and he was like, oh, maybe I can do that. But he was talking about self-image and about how, when we were raised, actually he said in 4th grade for him, it was a big year. And, he was taught all about evolution. And he basically was taught that we were a mistake and took that to heart, I think. And, it just was a really hard thing for him, for his self-image, thinking that he was a mistake. He just grew out of a, pond as an amoeba or whatever. And that just was hard for him, for his self-image. And then he talks about, let's see, Les Brown. So he, after, high school, he squeaked through high school or whatever. And he ended up in a network marketing opportunity meeting. Somebody picked him up and they drove for 22 hours on a bus and went to this huge opportunity meeting. And this was like 25 years ago when network marketing was just, just becoming a thing. And he saw Les Brown. Les Brown was in that opportunity meeting. And those of you that don't know Les Brown, look him up. He is amazing. And in our Success on Demand in our back office, there is a ton of content of Les Brown. So look it up. He's really, really good. My husband actually had the opportunity to listen to him at the Get Motivated seminar like last year, I think it was. And I was super jealous. I really wanted to go because he's just very inspirational. So look him up. But he talked about Les Brown. And Les Brown talked about his upbringing. And he up until the 4th grade I think they were in foster care. Him and his twin brother were in foster care or something. And he basically was diagnosed as being retarded. And he could not read or write. He, did not do well in school at all. So in the 4th grade, a lady adopted him and his brother. And she basically said, do not ever say that word again. You are not. And you will not be. And she believed in him and raised his self-image so high that look at him now. I mean, it gives me goosebumps, to be honest with you. He is absolutely inspirational and amazing. And he will tell you that he was not good in the beginning, but he, believed in himself because somebody else believed in him first. And that just, took him, helped him to be successful. And, he also talked a little about the David and Goliath story and how, Goliath is just a huge giant and everybody's afraid of him. And David says, oh, I got him, and okay, here, give me some rocks. And he takes them down, talks about the self-confidence and, the self-image. He knew that God believed in him enough that he was going to take down Goliath, and he did. And, that's just huge. It talks about mindset right there and self-image and all of that. So I just absolutely love this lesson. It's like I said, a really hard one for me because I'm a woman, probably because I'm a mom. I don't know, lots of reasons. But, I definitely learned some things from this, and I hope you did too. I'm going to just end with the key takeaways that are on the worksheet here. And basically, this kind of sums up the whole lesson. If I see myself as a 3, it's impossible for me to consistently behave like an 8. So again, if you have that on the scale from 1 to 10, if you think you're a 3 self-image wise, you cannot consistently behave as an 8. So you have to raise your self-image. If you want to be successful, you have to. The most important words you hear every day are the words that come out of your mouth. So, again, talking about guarding your self-talk, definitely talk to yourself, but guard that and be careful with what you say to yourself. If you guys want the author of that book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, let me know and I can get that to you, because I'm really, really excited about reading that and, just raising your self-image and changing your mindset. We see others not as they are, we see others as we are. And I think I missed that. I don't know, I guess. It was in my notes, but somehow missed it. So that was the last bullet point on how to approach the mirror. We see others not as they are. We see others as we are. So in order to, see the good in other people, we have to see the good in ourselves. And in order to see, people in a good light, we have to raise our self-image. So that was kind of a big deal for me. We see others not as they are, we see others as we are. So hopefully you guys are getting a little something out of this. I absolutely am. And obviously, you know, I can't give you every single tidbit of information, you know, that I'm learning, but I'm doing the best I can, you know, taking good notes and trying to equate that to our business. And I'm growing already in just the 2 weeks of this class. And I hope you guys are getting something out of it. So thank you so much, those of you guys that are joining me, and I'm going to stop recording, and I will put this in the Rockstars team page for the rest of you that couldn't join us. And I did also post the worksheet, and I'll put it in the post again. So, all right, thank you guys. Good night.